I can start from the personal side first. So, similar to Isaiah, my character in The Forge, I was raised by my mother. I didn't grow up with my father, so that's kind of the reflection in the story of Isaiah as well. And so, like I said, I want to also do my own films and my own projects as well. So God put the idea on my heart. I'm like, hey, I want to do a project that has to do with the father-son dynamic. And so when I saw the storyline, I was like, all right, Lord, this will glorify you. I knew of their work, and I knew that, hey, Isaiah goes on the journey to forgive his dad. So in my real life as Aspen, in 2019, God put it on my heart to reach out to my dad and let him know, like, hey, I don't know what caused the division between you and my mom, but, I just want to let you know I forgive you. And so the day that I felt the Lord put that upon my heart, I was actually at the gym working out. And I'm like, Lord, you want me to reach out to my dad and forgive him? I'm like, I'm not angry at him. I don't have any bitterness, because I just felt like he just simply wasn't around, because that was a normal thing growing up around, in Memphis, Tennessee. Some people just didn't have their father. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But it felt awkward. So I was like, I sent the text. I got his number from my brother, and I sent it to him, and I sent that, and he reached back out and was like, hey, like, I've prayed for a long time that one day that we could have this conversation, that you would forgive me.
Wow.
And so after I did that, in my personal life and my career, God has opened so many doors since that moment. And I was just like, man, like a simple test of obedience in my private time led to fast forward to 2023 doing the same thing in a film. So I was just like, man, God, you put that on my heart to see if I was going to obey you and forgiving my dad, no matter how awkward it was for me, but to surrender to his will, to say, hey, I'll do it. And now doing this film is kind of doing the same thing I did in my real life. So when I saw this story, I was like, all right, Lord, like, this is kind of like my life, but it's just
What impact? Let's go back to the Aspen story.
Yes.
What impact did having that conversation about forgiveness and extending forgiveness to your father, what impact did that have on you and on your relationship with him?
So definitely, as I began to learn more about the compassion in the heart of Jesus Christ, as far as like just forgiveness, I'm like, who am I not to forgive? Even if I don't have anything, I have to set the record clear to say, hey, I have no malice or no anger or no bitterness towards you. The Bible teaches us to honor our parents, our mother and father. And it was a thing where I wanted to make sure that, my conscience and my heart was clear to be able to forgive and extend and have that. Like I said, everything doesn't end up in a perfect way, but it's a thing where I definitely wanted to extend love and grace and compassion, because I knew that it all depended upon my heart being clear and before the Lord, so he can use me as a vessel. So that's the impact it definitely had on me in terms of that action. But, our relationship, now we talk sometimes here and there. He checks in, and I see, God is working on his heart too, and I pray for my mother and my father both, that he continues to work in their hearts too. But it's a healing journey for sure. But, God has my heart in his hands, and I'm really grateful about that, man.
Well, and I also wanted to find out how it actually resonated with your dad.
Yeah. He
you're reaching out.
Yes, he definitely, like he said, he expressed to me that he was grateful that I did it, and he always prayed that one day we could, that I would forgive him. He was like, hey, I apologize. He was honest. He was like, hey, I was young and dumb. I should have done things better. I just didn't have my mindset right. He said, how you are before the Lord now, I wish I had a strong relationship with the Lord at your age now when I was. But I feel like he's learned a lot too, because sometimes I send him scriptures and we talk about the Lord, or I send him sermons too. So it's kind of funny, because I'm asking God, like, all right, he's my father. I thought I would get this from him, but now God is kind of using me to like making sure that we have those conversations spark from me to my dad as well.
So back to the storyline of The Forge. So there was there was that dynamic of the father-son relationship. What's Isaiah's story?
Yeah, so Isaiah, his father, and Cynthia, played by Priscilla Shira, he left my mom, and he cheated on her in the film, and he left us, and I felt like, for the development of Isaiah's character, just that father figure being in your life is really important, especially when you love sports. Just having that, not just anybody in the crowd, but knowing like, hey, I can make my dad proud. That's one thing he always wanted to do in my development, but not having him there was like, it felt a void. Like, it was anger. Like, why did you leave? Why didn't you pick me up from practice? Why didn't you, keep your promises and tell the truth? So just living with those circumstances really encouraged me to, like, when we got to the script and those scenes, it was seamless, because I lived with that circumstance, and it was pretty cool to express.